Hello, everybody. Welcome to Late Night Football. Welcome to our analysis show. And there's no games today, so we're kind of doing a little bit of a analysis on a couple of talking points from over the weekend. And this is the first of two that we're going to be doing. And I mean, I'm still buzzing from yesterday's League Cup win, isn't it? That's something that's been in my mind. But we got to move on because there's other things happening, and there's lots of things happening. Yesterday, this weekend actually was a wonderful, interesting weekend. Sunday especially was very, very interesting. There's so many things that happened. And I was just realizing all the different little things that came out, and won't be able to analyze everything, but I do want to talk about a few things, and I think that's perfect time to talk about Chelsea, because I saw the game yesterday. I did the reaction show as well on it. If you want to check it out, you can, when Spurs beat Chelsea 2-0. And I said one of the things that I talked about was the fact that Chelsea lacked spirit. They lacked that belief that they could win the game. They never looked like they never looked like they wanted to win the game, and they never looked like they were believing that they could win that game. And a lot of that falls on Graham Potter and the struggles that he's had. Since then, there's been a petition by Chelsea fans to get him to be sacked, and those have got a lot of signatures apparently. And after all that, I mean, Todd Boehly said he's going to give Graham Potter a long rope. He's going to give him a lot of time. Is that the right decision? Does that look like the right decision as each passing weekend goes by? That's the question I think that we probably want to answer. And I mean, it'd be nice I'm not a Chelsea fan, so I can only say this from a rival fan perspective, from a neutral fan perspective. I don't believe in neutral fan perspective, but I can only speak from that perspective. And what I can tell you is that I hope Potter stays in charge until United play Chelsea. As a United fan, that's what I want. The reason for that being, I don't want Chelsea to have a new manager bounce when you face them. I don't want them to do that. And when you have a rival fan saying that we don't want Potter to get sacked, it's the same thing as with rival fans say they don't want Glazers, that United should keep the Glazers. The moment you hear that, that is alarm bells. That is a red flag, and the red flag for that is, if the rival fans want your managers to say, then that means it's probably not a good idea. Right? And there are parallels that are made with Mikel Arteta, right? I mean, Arteta had a tough time as well, and he kind of came through it. So, give him more time, and maybe he can come through with it. I think a lot of, there was the fact that he won an FA Cup, that's there as well. But I do think with Mikel Arteta, one of the things that defined him was the fact that he was at Arsenal. The football was bad. I'm trying to think about the fact the football was bad, but the one thing that did work in his favor at that time was that there were no fans in the stadiums, right? So there's no sort of vocal discontent that was there. The most of the discontent was online, and I do commend the Arsenal board for keeping him for as long as they did. But you could kind of tell that maybe Arteta, even at that time, I felt that there was something that Arteta was trying to do. I mean, I saw some of the work that he did. I mean, the fact that he could just beat Manchester United so easily obviously made me, go like, well, this guy's got something at least, because he's able to beat Manchester United. Not that it was a big deal beating United in those days. I mean, that it's it isn't what it used to be. But beating United doesn't mean as much as it used to. But but you still felt that maybe there's something happening. I'm not going to claim here and say that I was never Arteta out or whatever. Like, I never felt that he should be sacked. I mean, I'm not going to sit and claim that. But you could tell that maybe there was something with Potter. I think one of the biggest problems is, it's a strength and a curse, and pardon the pun, Potter and curses. But I think the problem is that he's English. And one of the biggest problems that English is because he's English, the media is going to kind of support him and go, right, he's, give him more time, he can do this. Because, I mean, as with footballers, the British media is desperate for a managerial messiah. They're desperate for that, that English savior kind of narrative that goes about. And sometimes that tends to overrate managers. They tend to overrate people, like even with Eddie Howe. There's a lot of talk about how much miracles he's performed, and maybe he has, maybe he hasn't, but you tend to get these kind of stories that come out about the British, because that's how it is. Your home country, your home media will always try to overrate that. The problem with that is a good thing from Potter's point of view, because he's got the media sort of behind him. The problem is, what happens is there's a lot of people who are distrustful of the media, and those people will feel that, well, Potter is being overrated. He's overrated. He's not that good. He's overrated, and that kind of seeps in to the fans. And so then the fans go, well, we don't want him anymore because he's overrated, right? He's just been protected by the media. So so that creates a discord between the media and the fans. Do I think? I mean, the problem goes back to, you look at the players that they've got. I mean, when you've bought a player for 85 million pounds in Mudryk, you've got to start him. It doesn't matter if he's playing bad. You've got to start him. You've got to find a way to integrate him into the side. You've got to play him. You don't rest him. You don't drop him for a game like against Spurs. You don't do that, right? So he's got to be starting. Same with Madueke. He's got to be started. I don't know if he's injured or not, but if he's not injured, he's got to be starting. You can't drop players. It doesn't matter if they consider long-term projects or whatever. The fact is, you paid that much money, you've got to start these players. Same with Enzo Fernandez. I know Enzo Fernandez started, but he's got to keep playing. The fact is, these players who are going to be the future of the club, they need to play as much as they can, because yes, they will probably flop. Yes, they might flop, but the moment you put them on the bench, it's an acknowledgement to the world that what, he's not good enough for me. I think we might have made a mistake in signing him. The moment you do that, it happened with Jadon Sancho. Jadon Sancho was dropped by Ole Gunnar Solskjaer for like 2 or 3 games, and his confidence hasn't recovered yet, because immediately you kind of go, well, this because of the pressure starts to get to you, right? That, oh, this guy is a flop. This guy is not doing that well. He's not a good player. They wasted money. Those things happen, and those things just build up. So for me, that's one of the things that you've got to play, because you paid that much money. You've got to play him. It might be wrong in the short term, long term, whatever, but you still got to do it, because that's what you've done. That's the decision that you made, and you've got to stick with it. And I just feel that these are the kind of decisions that being at Brighton doesn't prepare you for these kind of decisions. There are a lot of people think, well, he's done well at Brighton, so the natural next step now is to go into top four club. It's very different. Managing a team that has title expectations, trophy expectations is very, very different from managing a team that is mid-table, trying to get into top 7 or trying to stay above relegation or whatever. It's a very different ball game. It's different egos, it's different strategies, it's different techniques to manage those pieces within management. It's very, very difficult. You can't just because the egos are different, but for players the egotistical players who've got all sorts of ideas, you've got to manage those. You've got to manage, of course, the rotation, the schedules, whatever. You've got to manage that. You've got to manage the expectations of the fans, of the board. There's so many different nuances that being like a top set, a Brighton doesn't teach you. Being at a Brighton will not teach you how to manage Chelsea. It just doesn't. As much as you want it to, it doesn't. And therefore, and this is where it comes down to my final point, is I feel English managers, the reason why they struggle, the few who get a chance to go above, they struggle, is because they never get that experience of being in title challenging clubs. It's very different. And so I always wonder, why don't they just go abroad, right? I mean, the fact is that English clubs pick managers from abroad. So why not just go abroad and become good and then come back? Like, I mean, what harm is there for an English manager, for a Graham Potter to go, right, I've done my thing at Brighton. I want to, maybe I'm not ready to be at Chelsea. Why not I go and be a manager somewhere in Portugal or Germany or Italy or wherever, where you can get that experience of being in a team with a team that is challenging for top 4 or challenging for Champions League spots, even challenging for titles. I mean, they could look at those options, because those are things that then prepare you for this sort of challenge. And in the obvious answer is money, right? A Brighton manager gets more money than, I'm pretty sure Brighton's manager probably gets more money than a manager of Milan or something like that. or at least a Porto and Benfica. They definitely make more money than Porto and Benfica managers, who are the ones who are in title challenges, right? It comes down to money at the end of the day, but that doesn't prepare you for that big success at the top. And that's where I think, and maybe it's the fact that a lot of the foreign clubs don't want English managers. That's totally fair if that happens, but I just feel that British managers, or English managers in particular, just don't want to go abroad. And when Rodgers has been stuck at Leicester for so long, he's never going to get higher than where he's gone. His peak at Leicester has passed. Leicester never going to become a consistent top 4 team. They might challenge for it and they might get there, but they're never going to be a top 4 team, consistent top 4 team. They're never going to be title challengers for a long time. They won the title once, but I don't think they're going to do that again for a while. So Rodgers is kind of in that limbo as well, where he's like, but no top 4 English club or top 6 English club is ever going to go for Rodgers, because now he's had that stench of failure around him. And so he's kind of stuck in limbo. So that's something I think. And I know Graham Potter has gone abroad, by the way. I know that he's gone to Assistance, but that was a mid-table club as well. He's got to now, what he should have done, what a lot of these managers should have done, is go to a club where you can then work on being go to a title contending club in a different country. It doesn't have to be somewhere far away. It could just be Holland or Germany or Netherlands or Germany or Italy or some place like that. I'm sure there are clubs that would be interested, or even Portugal for that matter, or France. Get that experience, and then you come back. And I know France and Germany is probably hard to be title challenging clubs, because Bayern and PSG hover them up, but maybe there's still a middle ground there. But you go to those clubs where you get that experience, and then you come back. And if you do well in those clubs, that's where English clubs notice, right? I mean, English clubs are picking up players from foreign managers from foreign clubs anyway, so might as well go to a foreign club. Anyway, do I think Potter? I mean, I think I answered my question there, isn't I? That I do believe I do believe he's dead man walking in a way, in terms of whether he can keep the job. The question is, do the American owners have the willingness to sack him? I think that's where that comes down to. And I don't know the answer to your question. I really don't, because it seems from everything that they say, they seem like they want to stick with him long term. Even if the field fans don't like it, but sure, at some level it kind of hurts as well, Boehly, right? That he's looking at all these expensive players that he's bought, and they don't even make it onto the pitch, and the team is losing. How does he feel about that? Those are things. Some, owners are egotistical as well, right? So it will be interesting to see what happens in the next couple of weeks. As I said, as a United fan, I hope he stays in place until at least United play Chelsea. Not because I think it will be an easy 3 points. I just feel that with the new manager, Chelsea will have more chances of winning that game than they do with Graham Potter. So that's where I am at. But who knows? Maybe I put the kiss of death and the jinx, and maybe they'll come back and they'll start winning games from here. Who knows what will happen? Anyway, let me know your thoughts on this. Do you think Graham Potter should be given more time? Do you think he should be sacked? Who do you think could be a replacement for him? And let me know your thoughts, because I always love to hear from you guys. Smash like if you enjoyed this video. Thank you so much for watching, and subscribe to our channel on YouTube. Follow us on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram. We appreciate your support. Take care. We'll see you again soon. Bye-bye.